They
Oh
just started
dear.
it.
Yeah, they just started.
I didn't realize we are going before
We're sorry,
they're
Mr.
going.
Producer. We're sorry. Well, nothing much happens.
Yep, just getting into the first shots being fired here.
Yeah.
As the vodka shot has taken a decent amount of damage already. Ares getting some of its armor getting knocked down, rebuilding it without too many issues, and the Gents team falling a little bit back here. All right, Ares getting fired upon. Still somewhat in range, no spot. So once again, this kind of blind shots coming on in, doing a fairly good job. That cloud moved off.
Only a couple minutes.
Like 30 seconds.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about 30 seconds, maybe a minute at most.
Yeah. Maybe a minute. Yeah.
Some people had to reconnect, and that was about it. And I think one of the ships actually started off spawning in the rib as well, so that was about it. All right, yield rubbish getting absolutely
Boy, this could be
hammered
the end for
here.
rubbish here.
Oh, and there it goes, getting that final shot in. A lot of those shots actually were hitting the rib, but yield rubbish goes down, and now Ares is in a lot of trouble, as the Sacrilege team just poked its nose out into the open just by a little, well, by too much, I guess is just how you want to put it. Ares going to sink down over here, trying to escape this constant barrage of Artemis shots. And yield rubbish spawning in the back of the ribs once more.
Yes, indeed. Oh, now the gentlemen staying closely together, as they should do.
Yep, still hunting the Ares
not
there.
Quite so much.
But the Ares was hidden behind a lot of this rubble, not taking any shots whatsoever. Yield rubbish now out and open once more. It looks like the Ares is trying to return a little bit of fire, connecting decently well on the Argonian Maid actually, but has put himself into another position where he can get hit. Backing up enough, however, and gonna lose line of sight, and the Argonian Maid will lose its spot as well. So as the clouds roll through, both teams will reset, reposition, and get ready for another barrage as soon as these cloud cover passes. And there you go. Ares taking advantage of that cloud break there, but all those Hades shots, yep, finally one connecting. Almost all those Hades shots completely missing. I mean, it's quite spectacular when you miss with Hades because it's just a giant fireball that's
yes,
roaming through the air.
It's very obvious when you miss with the Hades.
Very much quite so. Yep, there you go. As they all go flying off into the desert sky.
Ares in a slightly awkward position here.
Yield rubbish poking its head around this back rib over here, getting some shots off onto the vodka. But going to slink back behind here, waiting for the Ares to come on forward, so he's not sitting alone here like he was in the previous engagement. However, Ares has come way forth. There's really nowhere for the Ares to actually hide anymore, so they really need to get a kill here. Otherwise, the Ares is going to just get absolutely hammered. They are doing a very good job on the vodka shot. Vodka shot repairing quite well, however, and not taking any more permanent damage than they already have. Ares, as I said, once again, having come out way too far, taking a lot of damage here. Continual fire coming
Ares
in
just
from
getting
blue team.
wrecked here.
Oh, the Ares goes down. They did get some nice shots off at vodka shot, getting a large chunk of its health down, but Ares...
Yale Rubbish trying to sneak around the side of that rib. I think he got blown off by the wind.
Yeah, well,
that's not a reliable place to cover snipe from. Not a good place to try and go around either, because sometimes you'll just get pushed into the rib by that wind.
Yeah, now Ares has spawned all the way across on the other side of the map, so we'll see if Yield Rubbish can get out of here, or if the Gents will even try to pursue, as they might think that the red team will have spawned back in this location as well. There, it looks like they're not. They actually are going to pursue right into the ribs. And Yield Rubbish still hanging around as the Ares is coming from the back, but it's going to take him quite a long time to get here. Now, with the Gent team having moved into the ribs as well, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for the Ares to get back into this fight. They're not just sitting, the Gents aren't just sitting back across the edge of this map anymore, so no sudden surprise here from that Pyramidion that's already spotted and already taken a lot of fire here from the Lust Argonian Maid. More of those Hades shots coming into the Ares, but the vodka shot getting stuck onto the edge of that map, as we said before. Same place where Yield Rubbish was stuck and does get taken down, so that is the first kill here for Sacrilege. Can they capitalize on this and take the Maid down as well? Only time will tell. Maid trying to back up as quickly as it can.
Sooner or later, time will tell. The lusty Argonian Maid seems to have successfully managed to back off as the vodka shot comes back in.
Yep, spawning right behind where the Maid was.
Ares just going for it here. Completely charging out the cover.
Once again, this is the second time that the Ares has done it, and he paid for it with a death last time. And this time he's just going to move on back, hopefully learn a little bit of his lesson, of course with the vodka shot spawning there.
Argonian taking a lot of damage though.
Argonian Maid actually taking a lot of damage as well.
I think they bounced into each other there.
Yeah, it does definitely look like.
Not ideal at all. Ares slinking back into those ribs, but one more shot will finish him off, and
there it goes. Once again, the Ares getting a little bit too ahead of itself, going down. Now Yield Rubbish is standing here alone. They were not able to get the Argonian Maid down. Almost did so. Very little health left, but they managed to get themselves repaired, and Ares paid the ultimate price for that. Now, where is Ares spawning this time? Let's take a look at the map. Still not up anywhere. I wonder if they're just actually going to wait and hold their spawn for a while. Nope, there you go. Pops back up way in the back of their own ribs.
Yes, indeed. Right, well, yeah, the Sacrilege team safely ensconced in those ribs.
And the Gent team, pretty much in the same position that they were last time, so this has been quite a constant. They move forward a little bit to get into those ribs, try to chase down the Yield Rubbish. Did decide to move back, as that was probably the closest spawn spot for the vodka shot that they could get, and May didn't want to be left by himself. Now they are catching the Yield Rubbish out here. Some guns going down. No great damage going, but ooh, the Ares actually catching the vodka shot way on the side here in an open field, and the vodka shot is not
nailing those awkward shots around the corner of those ribs there.
And the vodka shot not moving to the side at all. They are dropping a little bit, but
the vodka shot's practically against the border of the map right now.
Yeah, I would have thought that they would have tried to move into more of that cloud cover. However, they lose their spot instead, and we'll just head forth again now. The Maid is coming on in, but now gets should be spotted anytime soon. Fire going on it, if nothing else, as we see more of those Hades shots just arcing straight over that balloon.
Not ideal.
But those Artemis shots still coming on in, disabling some of the Maids. Yeah, and there you go. There's some more Hades coming on in. A lot of missing, but some decent connections there. Balloon almost went down, and if the Maid's armor goes down, there you go. There's that kill that Sacrilege wanted on that ship, and I'm not entirely sure why the Maid continued to be there and what the vodka shot thought of all that, but that was It was a little bit strange to me that the maid kept on just sitting there under all that fire.
Hmm.
I mean,
Okay.
even if a lot of those Hades are missing, all you
Yeah,
need are a few connections.
he was on a tiny sliver of permahull that entire time. I think the Gents are being forced to be more aggressive than they're usually comfortable with here.
Ares, now I'm not entirely sure where the Ares was going there, but bumps and snows into the rib here. He is spotted. They do know where the Ares is. Yield rubbish. Looks like they're gonna try to get behind the giant wreckage, and Ares gonna be able to get on out. I think the Artemis just doesn't quite have the range to hit from this long.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, as you can see, all the Artemis fire is exploding before it reaches from either side. Vodka shot Ares was moving forth a little bit more, and that actually will allow those Artemis to connect with these two ships. So good repositioning here by the Gents to be able to fire those off. But once again, you see those Artemis getting shot off and exploding way in front of where the yield rubbish ended up being. Of course, Artemis, even being as long range as they are, they do not have the range of something like a Merc, or even something like a Flak.
Oh god,
Heavy Flak.
yeah, the Merc. Yes, indeed.
A lot of tarring here going on by the Lusty Argonian maid. Not entirely sure why.
Let's have a look.
Probably
yes,
just.
you're right. A bit of tar.
Yeah, probably just a little bit of
to obscure
a slip.
them a bit, maybe.
Well,
maybe he rolled his mouse wheel a bit too far.
Yeah, they were in a cloud, so they were already. Really, all this is gonna do is it's actually gonna push the tar onto the vodka shot, possibly, but the vodka shot's gonna be a little bit too far above it to actually do anything.
A lot of wind on this map.
Yeah, this map and Perrin, I believe, Perrin and Labyrinth are the ones that tarring is going to be a little bit less effective on because of the fact that there's just wind blowing it off.
How tar was mouse scroll accident casters.
Yep, she made fun of me. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say fun. It was a little bit puzzling, but I think we both more or less assumed there was a slight mishap, not something that was actually intended. The yield rubbish and Ares backing up a little bit further, yet still trying to keep their enemies in sight. Byron there had a little bit of a squid moment. Got a little bit too scared and released his ink pouch.
Looks like Sacrilege are going to take the long way around now.
Yep, and I was waiting to see if they were going to plan on doing this. Now, I would like to see yield rubbish going a little bit lower, perhaps, so that they don't get spotted. Unless, are they just going to try to set up right here? Or no, he's just turning around to get his front to where it actually needs to be. All right. So what I was saying is that I would have liked to see the yield rubbish maybe flying a little bit lower, so this maneuver here doesn't get spotted. I'm not sure if the Gents have spotted this or not. Which way are they turned? Yeah, so they are turning in that general direction and going to meet them. So, yeah, and this is what I was talking about. It looks like the yield rubbish, at least the top of that ship, got spotted in the distance. So the Gents know where the Sacrilege team is coming from. Maid has got a spot on him, but vodka shot as his front turned straight to where the yield rubbish is and got a spot on him as well. So here we go, commence the firing as those Artemis shots come raining on in, taking out, looks like it took out a single gun so far.
Yep, it looks that way. Vodka shots going high altitude, as is the Lusty Argonian maid. That's where the gentleman Well, the Gents are the most comfortable, high altitude firing down. However, Vodka Shot taking a lot of sustained damage from the Aries and the Yale rubbish.
Yep, he did lose his shot, his spot, however, and is going to be able to avoid the rest of that fire. However, that was a very dangerous situation there for the vodka shot. And now the mate is actually way in front here, and trying to fire down upon the yield rubbish. If these two Sacrilege ships would have turned on the Argonian maid almost immediately, instead of continuing to focus on the vodka shot, they may have had a kill there, but they are just going to try to focus that Mobula down,
Yes,
and it looks like that will be
once
the target.
again, the Gents find themselves pretty much out in the open, while Sacrilege have cover they can use.
Well, so far it's worked out fairly well for the Gent team. They are up 3-2. Of course, 2 of those kills have been very much from the Ares, just getting forward a little bit too much as well. And Maid has dropped down into the clouds, so it's not going to be seen anymore. And Vodka Shot is backed up as well, far enough to where it's not quite in any immediate danger, as I'm sure the Gents are reformulating their plans.
Yes, indeed. Lost Argonian Maid, Vodka Shot seem to be sort of heading around the other side of the ribs.
Oh god, Tartar Binks.
Oh god.
Oh, why'd you have to
Groan.
remind me of that? Alright. One of the worst movies ever made. Not gonna lie.
Now, oh, the Rusty Argonian Maid. Fair bit ahead of the Vodka Shot here.
Yield rubbish is spotted. They're shooting. Wow, they're actually shooting through this little hole here in this cover, which is, it's not actually the hardest because this is a pretty giant hole, but still allows them a fair amount of shots, and it's gonna be harder to fire back through those than firing right out of. It's pretty good positioning there by Real Rubbish, using the terrain very much to their advantage. Now, Lusty Argonian Maid is still extremely farther ahead of the Vodka Shot.
Oh, Ares getting isolated. Getting Ares.
Yeah, but Argonian Maid has got to be incredibly careful here. Doesn't want to go too far. Doesn't want to get out of range of his supporting
I think he's okay.
fire.
I think Lusty Argonian Maid is pinning down the Ares while
yeah,
being
right
able
now
to
it's fine.
quite easily.
I just wanted to not go any further or get down and try to get on Ares' level, so thankfully that didn't happen. Vodka Shot once again extremely far to the other side. I mean, this is just constantly pushing against that wind, the edge of the map, if you will, which you don't just like bounce off of anymore, thankfully. Yield Rubbish and Ares taking up their positions. This is almost exactly the same type of situation we had on the other side of the map, except for this time it's in blue spawn, which we'll see how it works out. If one of these blue ships go down, we might have a little bit of chaos being spread as they're in blue spawn. Although with a spawn available out in the middle of the map, that's probably what the Gents would take.
Yeah, again, they seem to have reached something of a stalemate here. Both teams reluctant to fully engage.
Yep, a lot of shots going down still, but many of them are just hitting terrain. Few of them they're connecting with Ares, but with no spots, it's going to be increasingly more difficult to be able to hit on a regular basis now that those set of clouds are going away, and looks like finally the Vodka Shot might be connecting with some of these as well, so a lot of fire going down over onto the Yield Rubbish in this case, and Vodka Shot has come forth, and the Ares trying to get those Hades shots connecting. One does, but the rest
Hades
just flies
shots
wildly.
Underneath. Probably
and now the Ares is stuck once again in the middle of nowhere, and is gonna go down once more.
Yeah,
And
the vodka shot was
now,
just hugging that height ceiling to avoid those Hades. It paid off, and we managed to take down the Ares. Now, yeah, it could be the end for Yale Rubbish here.
it could be the end for Yield Rubbish and for this
Gents
map, as this is
could
the
be
last kill
closing
that
in
the
on
Gents need.
victory.
I'm not sure why the Yield Rubbish didn't try going around the backside once again, and is just actually just deciding to stick it out here. He is using some cloud cover, but then he stops his forward momentum as well, and now is directly in the line of fire. The Lusty Argonian made. Ares is going to come from the back trying to catch up with this action here, but it might be just a little too late as the vodka shot and the maid circle around the Rubbish, and Rubbish is in just a world of trouble. Argonian maid slunk down a little bit too far, and is actually allowed Ares to come on forth in a position where they can actually hit the vodka shot now. And the vodka shot now has got to be really careful himself. Mage shooting off at the Yield Rubbish. Can they take the Yield Rubbish down before the vodka shot
Oh, it
gets
looks like they can.
destroyed? But no!
Oh, no, they don't.
Vodka
Well,
shot
comeback
takes him
this
down.
would be for Sacrilege. Oh, wait,
Oh,
the
but
Yale
Yield
Rubbish goes
Oh, that
down.
Banshee kill for the last shot. Oh man, that was almost a tragedy there for the Gents. But instead, they do manage to pull off the 5-3 kill, and there you go. First map goes to the Gents. Very, very patient by the Gent team. Sacrilege as well. But it was really just almost a matter of the areas just moving out just a bit too many times. Gent Sacrilege match, which is finally going to be getting started as Velvet has returned.
Just imagine how much easier all of this would be if everyone was part of one supercontinent and we all shared the same time zone.
that really wouldn't make much of a difference because people would still wake up during the day, whatever it is that you call it.
Well, no, if like let's say all of the world's mass was within like the width of the United States, and then the rest of the Earth was just water.
I mean, okay. Yes, if we lived on a completely different planet than what we have now,
Well,
you are right.
Pangea, man, like hundreds of millions of years ago or whatever, before all the continents split apart.
I still think we're doing better with all the water than without. Regardless of how geographically we are located, let's get a quick rundown of ships here on the Yield Rubbish, and we've got once again all sorts of Artemis going on. There's 3, 2 on side, 1 on front, with a Gat mortar at the front or on the other side of that ship. On the Ares, we've got that's what we were talking about earlier, that Hades Artemis combo with an Artemis and a flare gun on the sides. Do you want to do the other 2 ships there?
Yes, and on the blue team, the Gents, we have the Lusty Argonian maid, piloted by Byron Cavendish, with the left side Triple Artemis, right side Hades Banshee. A build seems unique to Byron, opting not to run the traditionally accepted Gat mortar side. For this more of a like mid to close range disruption build, and his ally, the vodka shot, piloted by Velvet, Mobula, Artemis, Gat, Mercury, Mortar, Artemis. So nice split build, close, long range, Mobula.
Now, I believe that last match, once again, the vodka shot had the Hades up top, not that Merc, and we saw that that sort of change on the Mad Hatter team as well. And I just noticed something. If you're following a ship and they're in a cloud, you know how you can see people on a ship?
Yep.
If you're following the ship and they're in a cloud, they disappear.
Oh, not.
At least this is what, because I was following the vodka shot and their members were appearing and disappearing on my screen. It was really weird. I don't know. Maybe it might just be something here in this particular. map or area. All
I
right,
think it's
so
a distance thing. Like at a certain distance, they sort of pop in. Like a distance your
possibly.
camera is from the ship.
Well, maybe it's not what I was changing, but that really doesn't matter. It just seemed a little bit odd. Anyway, the Sacrilege team has made its way all the way across the map down into this spawn area of blue team. Now, if Gents were playing real close attention, they may have caught a sight of the Ares rear, but I don't think they quite know. They're kind of neutrally sitting,
I mean, this
looking
is
forth.
this oil derrick here is sort of where we've seen the Gents set up shop before on this map, so that's not surprising. But they are moving forward, so maybe they did catch a glimpse of the red team at some point, because this is definitely a more aggressive play.
Very much so. Now, Sacrilege team has actually moved back out to the front as well. Looks like they definitely changed their mind about how they want to approach this. Maybe they caught a sight of the Gents team and saw where they were sitting, and they might just actually go all the way around and maybe try to go like either on the ramp or sorry the pipe once more, or go all the way around the back side of where the pipe is on the right side of the map here.
Yeah, that would be
It,
interesting to see them switching and approaching from the opposite side of the map. Not quite sure what
we
they're doing.
we did see a few matches. I believe it was with the Thralls against the Gents, where the Thralls used that strategy of going way behind this rock. It is a little bit difficult to get behind there, but you can do it.
Which rock? The rock with the pipe hole in it?
Yeah, like way on the back side of that rock, like all the
Right.
way at the edge of the map.
Right,
You
there's like a
can
little
get
gap.
around that. Well, there's a gap where the pipe is, but if you continue on
I mean,
further than the pipe,
there's a gap between the end of
between
that
that and
rock
the
before the
and the
edge of the map.
edge map, yeah, yeah.
But
Now if you just stop there, the wind from the map edge will actually push you into that rock, so you've got to approach that with a lot of speed. But you can definitely get through there. And let's see, now it looks like Sacrilege team just is setting up kind of in the middle of the
I mean, it
canyon
seems like
here.
they made it all the way to the end of the west side of the map without seeing anything, so they want to play it safe and they're just going back into the canyons and yeah, approaching from a different angle and seeing if they can get a spot on their next approach, because they don't want to run into a bad situation where they don't have any situational awareness of where the other team is. But we haven't.
Yep.
It's pretty uncommon to see a team just retract completely from the other team's spawn once they've seemingly committed. Again, no spots.
Especially having seen almost nothing. Like they didn't even poke their head out of the edge of that to see where anything was. They kind of just all of a sudden decided to turn around and go back the other way. So it's not even like they saw something that just didn't like. It's they just turned around.
Well, I think that's kind of why we see the Ares so far ahead. He was the first to sort of turn back and go back into the canyons.
Hmm.
It's like he's on a kind of on a scouting mission. They're trying to find the blue team, and they're not really ready to commit to another angle of attack. So yeah, the Ares just tentatively sort of poking out here. Although I'm not sure why they necessarily expect to find blue team over here.
Yeah, and I mean the Gents are sitting at a very sort of neutral point at their spawn. You know that it's not really covering anything in particular. Honestly, um, they are turned towards that backside.
And they do have one of these oil derricks that they could exploit for hard cover. Um, that's I mean probably what they're thinking. By
Uh,
sort of being in the open, but they can very quickly go back behind this. But yeah, it looks like maybe
vodka
you're
shot.
right because the Ares is Going all the way over here by this pipe, and it looks like
Yep.
he's. Oh,
The problem is, what I would actually hope they might wait for, although I'm not sure if they can tell, is this. Actually, if they go right now, it would be fantastic for them because that cloud set that's rolling through blue spawn would help them invaluably with this approach right now.
it looks
So
like
if they're gonna do it, they have to do this right now. Otherwise, the vodka shot would spot them
It looks
pretty
like
much
that's
immediately as they're turning that general direction.
exactly what they are doing. The Ares just holding back long enough for his ally to catch up. Although
And it looks like
now,
he's having a little bit of trouble. Are they?
are
Are
they
they just
changing their mind?
sitting here?
Maybe the Junker's going to go through the pipe and Ares is going to go around.
Um, yeah, it looks like Yield Rubbish is gonna head through the pipe, but I think that this may have taken. Yep,
Oh, as the
this just took a
cloud.
little bit too long. They do this right as that cloud set dissipates. There's another cloud set that's coming through, but that's not actually gonna help them any at all. And here we go. Yep. So the Ares is trying to get around here. Uh,
We'll see how quickly
And
spots
looks
go
like he's
down.
actually, yep, there you go. See, this is the problem. Not enough speed coming around this edge. And now he's getting banged up against this rock by the map wind. And the Vodka Shot and Lustergonian Maid have seen both the Ares nose, and I'm pretty sure the Yield Rubbish as well. Or maybe not, because they're moving completely elsewhere. They're moving forward. Right as this cloud set now comes back once more.
Abort,
And now
abort.
Sacrilege is pulling back. Yep, Sacrilege is aborting.
Today's NASA launch has been canceled due to unfavorable weather conditions. Our Pyramidion was blown against the side of the canyon, so we've had to reschedule at the taxpayers' expense.
Yep.
Right.
Now it looks like Ares might try to pipe it. They still might try to pipe this and just not go along the very edge. But in the meantime, the Gents have actually decided, okay, enough is enough, and now they've moved all the way to the other side. So all this positioning and
Welcome
sneakily
to
trying to
Canyon
approach.
Ambush.
You know, it would have worked out if Sacrilege had been able to do it when they needed to do it, but now that they are able to do it, well, their prey is no longer where they need to be.
Yeah, blue team now heading into the canyons. So it was so close. We almost had a fight. Just
So close, so very close. I actually really thought that the Ares had gotten seen by the Gents there, and that's why they started moving. But yeah, obviously not. Obviously now we're gonna do a little bit of ring around the rosy.
I maybe they well yeah, interesting to see now blue team going all the way into the canyons because surely they saw the ye old rubbish coming through that pipe, right? Because they started moving.
You would think I thought that's why they would start moving, but they're going literally the opposite way. Like it's not even, I thought maybe okay, they might try to go
Like
around a little bit.
I think the only reason you'd go into red spawn is if you thought red was sitting there.
Was in their spawn, yeah. No, I agree. I mean, the only other thing is maybe they think that red's just hanging out in the little area where the pipe begins, and so they're trying to catch him from behind.
Well, but if they thought that, then I'm not sure why they would go around the entire
But
map.
yeah, no, I agree. It really what this tells me is that the Gents had no idea that they were there.
Or maybe, possibly what they're thinking is that when red
Or maybe
team pulled
mind games.
Well, I mean, the other like if you're the Gents and you see the Junker poke out and then you see it pull back, I mean, one possibility is that maybe red team went back into the canyons to reposture, so now blue team is
Right.
maybe expecting to actually find them in the canyons, maybe at the mouth or, yeah, in that area where they were staging. But nope,
Yeah,
they'll
no,
see
very, very, very true.
the coast is clear. But now both teams are just have this one rock separating them.
Yep, finally, it looks like we might actually get an engagement here, and an engagement I don't think either of them are really expecting either, as both the oh, this is gonna turn out very interesting as the Ares and Yield Rubbish are heading straight into the Maid, and the Vodka Shot turning the corner as well, and this is gonna be one of the most unexpected fights in a for both of these teams. Although Yield Rubbish is actually going back towards the pipe. I don't know, because okay, he's going through this little gap, but that means the Ares is just absolutely cut out here by these two ships, and I don't think the Ares is going to live through this at all. It's getting absolutely hammered by these two teams. Yield Rubbish finally managed to come through that gap, but maybe just a little bit too late. Can Ares hold on, as Vodka Shot is also taking a lot of damage? Ares holding on magnificently so far. Vodka Shot taking a lot of fire. Lusty Argonian Maid gonna turn itself to the attention of the Rubbish, which is gonna alleviate some of that pressure on Vodka Shot, and now leave the Ares and Vodka Shot to duke it out on their own.
I mean,
Balloon is down.
Ares jamming that kerosene. I mean, that is an advantage of the Hades Artemis, is if you can manage to put enough distance between you and the gap mortar target. I mean, they won't be able to return fire, but he's been unable to do that. Looks like taking an unfavorable bump on one of these rocks, which halted his retreat.
Armor is down, and Yield Rubbish is actually gonna go down, and all of that, and this is the first kill as the Maid just finishes off Yield Rubbish. Good job by the Maid there, and now Ares is just, it almost looks like they're just surrendering here. There's, all right, just kill me. It's gonna happen. There's basically no fire coming back at all. Maybe they were just trying to camp the hall as much as possible, but yeah, that ended up being an extremely messy fight for Sacrilege team, as they really didn't expect the Gents to come right around there.
Whew. I mean, that was an ambush. I'll give him
very
that.
much so. Even if it was a completely unintended ambush, it was definitely an ambush, and maybe it would have gone a little bit better, but the Yield Rubbish had decided to go high and through the rocks, and the Ares had turned a corner, and I almost think that the Ares should pull back, but so far in both this match and the previous one, Ares just has gone straight forward, not really worrying about the cover behind it. It got caught several times last match on Duel at Dawn, heading out of the ribs a little bit far, and almost the same kind of situation here.
I mean, the difference between how those teams were playing, right? Neither team knew where the other one really was, but blue team was keeping their formation and they were prepared to engage at any moment, which red team was not. The old Rubbish was kind of left behind. He wasn't facing the right angle, which is why he sort of had to cut on top of the rock, and it just took him too long to get into the fight.
And now we got another little fight here going on, as the Maid and Vodka Shot have caught the red team trying to go around. Yield Rubbish taking a lot of damage. Oh, careful, Maid and Vodka Shot almost colliding there, but once again, combined fire taking down the Yield Rubbish rather quickly, and Ares is sitting out here just completely getting hammered by both of these ships, and not sure once again if they're going to be able to survive this at all. Shots come raining on in, and that was a very extremely quick 4 kills for the Gent team after a long bout of no action, catching the Sacrilege team twice with their pants down.
Oh man, I mean, this is really strong play from the Gents team, who have historically been very, you might say, campy on this map in particular, but definitely showing all of us that they can go aggro with the best of them. And yeah, as you said,
they're not stopping now, as here we go, Gents coming in again, catching the spawns right basically as they happen. It has given enough time for both these teams to get back up, but oh man, Yield Rubbish
losing all of his guns.
Everything is destroyed. Oh my god, those Artemis just doing work. So I'm fired back onto the vodka shop, but Yield Rubbish has had a horrible past 5 minutes or so, and gets absolutely obliterated by the two Gents teams, and down it goes for a 5-0 victory there, and that will push the Gents into the finals against the Mad Hatters. The valiant try there by Sacrilege did not go their way at all in the end. Seemed to be a little bit of indecision by them, trying to approach from a couple of different angles, but then failing to do so, and then turning around and just not getting around the edge, and it sort of seemed to throw them off, and then of course getting caught a couple of different times by the Gents there.